Raphael Montañez Ortiz speaks through many mediums, from piano-smashing performances to video-scratching compositions to his current post-literate conceptualist digital collages in which words are intended to be as visual as the imagery. An art professor at Rutgers University since the 70s, his work is in museum collections around the world, including the Museum of Modern Art and the Whitney. The evolution of his work began in the 1950s with his experimental films, edited with a tomahawk.
I got myself a made film, Hollywood-made film. It was a cavalry and Indian battle. I wanted to release the spirits that were driving the cavalry to hurt these indigenous people. And took the film and got a tomahawk and chopped it all up and did a chant, a war chant, and a spiritual releasing chant. You know, hey, hey, hey. Put them in a medicine bag, shook it up, put it all together randomly. You know, for years I was sort of in real time. I was doing this in real time, like hours and hours, with these images flickering in front of my eyes. I started dreaming that way, you know, with these images flickering, bouncing back and forth in my dreams. I decided then I could shift, because I was interested then in the whole cognitive science idea and being post-literate, and the relationship within the still image of image and text. And that's when it became important to me of the role of literacy and fluency in language, and what the relationship is between language, fluency, and imagery. So how do I bring that all to art? In other words, how can art move beyond the notion of the pre-literate, of just the image? Well, the art that's relevant to the present, to our potential in cognition, is an art that has text and image integrated, the two together. That serves my teaching. It's my whole aesthetic framework now, philosophy.
In the late 1960s, Ortiz founded El Museo del Barrio, New York City's only museum dedicated to Puerto Rican, Caribbean, and Latin American art. El Museo and Ortiz have since parted ways, but his original vision of a cultural institution rooted in his Latino, Portuguese, and Native American heritage continues to blossom.
I saw the museum as an important cultural institution that could serve the cognitive cultural development of the people, but it wasn't serving the underclass Puerto Rican community. The museo was to do two things: to give integrity to the folk culture and to make the bridge into the mainstream fine art culture.
Events in London saw the end to a symposium on the destruction of the arts this week, and now some of the demonstrations begin.
I started out really believing, you know, completely in the whole idea of catharsis. And I started banging on the piano and on the keys and so on, and I found the small axe and I was chopping at it and so on, and all the sounds, boom, ding, bam, bam, boom, and opened up the inside and was hitting the strings, you know, grong kind of thing. And I said, wow, this is fantastic. And so that the idea of deconstructing, of destroying the object, and the release, I got a concert. The sounds that occurred within that were the music. It's as if you can hear the sound of metal rusting. Even my most seemingly spontaneous, impulsive work demanded a lot of research. It seemed sort of chaotic, like, what is this artist doing? Tearing his films apart, just putting it together, and furniture and stuff. It seemed spontaneous, but thought out, lots of research to arrive at that spontaneity. The appearance is that you're destroying an object, something that's made, something that might have utility. This then is view it as a destruction, but it's really a deconstruction, destruction art.
Bravo. Mr. Ortiz, I'm a little concerned about this. I always thought that the arts was drawing form out of chaos. You're doing just the opposite, and yet you call yourself an artist. How can you explain that?
Well, I can say that the arts have been compromising art all these years, because most of the arts that form don't allow for the instincts to be expressed, the aggressive and destructive instincts. And finally, destructivist art allows for that. It allows for a full expression. It gives full vent to the instincts.
Well, how far are you prepared to take destruction? As far as murder, for example?
No. In fact, destructivist art exists because...
To what extent do we understand the architecture we are? As an artist, I am serious about being intelligent in my work. I don't want to be a savant. And not that I have anything against savants. Savants do amazing things. But if we have the potential, the God-given potential, to cognitively accomplish more, then we should.
Well, I hope there's one art form you're not going to consider destroying.
Well, what art form is that?
Your television set.
My television set.